Hello, this is Cheryl Willis over at Go Arizona Real Estate right here in Chandler, Arizona, part of Phoenix. And if you're watching this video, it's because you subscribe to a personal monthly vlog update of our market as it is real time. As both a buyer agent and listing agent, I have a full grasp on what's going on out there in the market, and you're not going to want to miss this because it changes every single month. And let me tell you, every month my jaw just drops further and further. There's just so many things going on. So this is where we're at. First of all, if you are a seller, you are sitting in the driver's seat. Let me tell you, if you're looking to sell right now, you can get top dollar. But let me tell you, there's a lot of gimmicks out there and a lot of agents out there that don't know what they're doing. Now, even if you don't use me to sell your home, let me give you just 3 things that you want to remember, okay? Number 1, you want to make sure that you are getting the best representation from the listing agent. If they are inexperienced and they don't do a lot of listings and they're not ready for the market, let me tell you, someone like myself as a buyer's agent is going to come in and take full advantage of your agent, and I'm going to get my client into your home at a lower price. So I can't even tell you how many times this is happening over and over again. I can't believe how many agents that just have no idea what they're doing. And they're so excited that when they get an offer from an institutional buyer, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, or any cash buyer these days, they immediately run to the seller and go, this is an amazing offer. Now, it does look amazing, don't get me wrong, but let me tell you, there's better out there. My whole philosophy about selling a home, especially in this market right now, is letting it simmer. So when you also are talking to listing agents that do this gimmicky thing that they guarantee they'll close it, they'll get you a contract in 3 days, anyone can get you an offer in 3 days. But here's where they are failing you as the seller. They broadcast your home being on the market and they don't let anyone see it for days, sometimes even a week or longer. And then they push everybody in this 1 or 2 hour open house. How safe is that right now? Really think about it. Are they doing themselves a favor or are they doing you a favor? Let me tell you, they have amazing gimmicks right now out there, and they will pull you in. They will promise you 6 full months of getting to stay there at no charge. Yeah, no, that can't be done unless it's an investor and it's not an institutional investor. They're going to promise you the world just for you to call them and give them your name and number, and then they're going to talk you into it and make promises like you can't believe. And let me tell you, when you're using a family member or you're using your agent that sold you your home 10, 15 years ago, ask how current they are, not only on the contract, but the market. I'm telling you, really today, you want to get the best listing agent, you're going to go the traditional route. And when I say traditional route, you're going to pay today's market right now, market rate's 5.5%. That's what everyone's charging, right? If your listing agent also, oh, this is the best. I'm so glad I remembered this. The listing agent calls you and says, I got an offer from a buyer. They don't have an agent, so I'm going to bring this in right now personally to you. And they try and shove that offer down your throat. You know why? Because I get these calls all day long. The buyer calls me and says, hey, I'd like to write an offer on that listing that you have. I don't have an agent. I'll tell you what, I'll kick you an extra $5,000, or I'll do this, or they're sweetening the pot for me, the listing agent. That's not right. And it's pretty hard to prove, but I can show you the text messages I get from these buyers. And there are agents that all they're thinking about is their paycheck. So that is my message to the sellers. Think twice before who you pick to sell your home. And FSBOs are struggling right now. Let me tell you, it's not as easy as it once was. So 3 things to close out for sellers, okay? 1, don't price your home too high. Your theory of if I price it high and they'll come in lower and then we can negotiate, you're missing the opportunity of the massive overbidding, okay? Number 2, make sure your home is ready to be sold. spend the time, clean it up. Even if you have to pay someone to clean it up. You know what? It doesn't cost money to be clean. And I can't tell you how many sellers that will contact me. Look at the pictures online. I'm embarrassed for my own industry. Have you seen the MLS pictures? It's embarrassing when you see those pictures. Do you think those homes are getting the top offer? No, they're getting an offer. They're probably getting several offers. But if you were the seller, would you rather have 3 offers or would you rather have 30 offers where everybody's trying to get to the top? Think about it, guys. And let me tell you, updates doesn't mean lipstick. So if you're saying, you know, I'm thinking I might update it a little bit, maybe a fresh coat of paint, or maybe I'll change the carpet and then we'll bump it up $10,000 or $15,000, it doesn't work. So my number 3 to you is, if you are planning on selling, start making improvements now. Do it yourself, or you can hire a handyman. One of my favorite, Thumbtack used to be my favorite app to get resources out there. There is a new app right now. It is called TaskRabbit. TaskRabbit. You can find anyone to do anything anymore. They're rated. You can pick the price that you're willing to pay. It's that easy. All right, let's now switch right over to buyers. And I'm going to scoot over here because we're going to show you right here all these details. All right, number 1, buyers, you better be more prepared than you ever have been before. We are still seeing the same demand at about 122% of normal buyer activity. And we're still seeing, depending on where we're looking, somewhere between 20 and 28% of inventory. What does that mean? It means it's a very, very strong seller's market. And how has this changed in the last, not kidding, 30 to 45 days? Wall Street. Wall Street has changed. Last year, everybody was making money. Somehow, well, I should say 14 months ago, everyone was making money. Last year, we had some things moving around big time, right? So when Wall Street starts losing money on Wall Street, they go, where else should I put my money? They always then move to real estate. So we still have the same almost 300 new people moving into our greater Phoenix area every single day. We're still seeing those numbers. But now that interest rates have already started to ticking up. And you know what? Many people don't know this. They're all talking about how the feds are going to raise the rates. The rate raises, the increases that you've seen today, that is not from the feds. So be prepared. Those are inflationary numbers that are coming from the unknown. No one knows where those are coming from. Maybe it's the instability of Wall Street. It's certainly not the instability of real estate, because let me tell you, we've seen a decline. It's sad, a decline in permits, so it's only going to get worse. Let me go back to the competition. When Wall Street, when investors, when hedge funds, when retirement funds aren't making money on Wall Street, they move to real estate. We all know there's a huge housing shortage. A lot of that, believe it or not, has to do with not only the builders not building and not millennials waiting to buy their homes, but it's from this new thing called Airbnb or vacation. You know, Airbnb is like that word Q-tip, like, right? Doesn't matter what brand it is, we all call it a Q-tip. Or how about Post-its? It doesn't matter if it's a Post-it brand name, we call them Post-its, right? Well, Airbnb is the new word, as y'all know, for short-term rentals. So short-term rentals have been around forever. Do you remember vacation rentals? Yes. Well, now Airbnb is the term. So Airbnb, just in the greater Phoenix area, is over 4,000 homes that used to be either owner-occupied or rentals, regular rentals, are now not in either market. So losing that inventory to that type of product over the years has definitely hurt our valley. Now it's great when we have like Super Bowl next year. We're gonna have plenty, well not, I don't know if we're gonna have plenty of places to stay or not. But the point is that there's not enough inventory. And so institutional buyers have moved to real estate and they are buying rental properties, not short-term rentals, long-term rentals. If you haven't noticed too, it depends on where you drive around the valley. There's these new product, if I would call, they're actually called build to rent. We've not seen a lot of this in the greater Phoenix area by any means. Look, if you come from a big city, if you come from Los Angeles, if you come from San Francisco, if you come from Chicago, Seattle, I don't care where, there is all kinds of multi-dwelling buildings. There's fourplexes, there's sixplexes, there's eightplexes, or even duplexes. I had a duplex when I grew up. Well, not grew up, but when I, as a young adult, my first family home for my family was a duplex. And when people call me for Phoenix, in the Phoenix area, they're like, oh, I'd like to buy a fourplex. I'm like, yeah, we don't have very many of those. And the ones we have, no bueno. There are now an abundance of build to rent communities. They're like casitas. They're super cool. They're kind of like a duplex, but with only one. Does that make sense? So you don't share a wall, but it is literally a small community of casitas. And I mean, I've seen them, I've seen them in Mesa, Chandler, South Phoenix, Peoria, Mesa, where there is a very high demand for rentals. There's been a huge shortage with that. You know how many phone calls I get from people from my YouTube page when they're like, can you please help me find a rental? I can't seem to find anything. They are hard to find. So when you start to think that these rentals are now the purchases for rentals are going to make our market crash, no. And let me tell you why. Number one, over 68% of the homes being bought today. Now, I'm not talking about those that are already, people have them living in. We have a 98% occupancy in our greater Phoenix area. Did you know that? There is literally hardly anything to live in. So when we still have 68% of those purchases that are happening today are owner occupied, there's a roof over their head. And then the other institutional buyers, like even Open Door and OfferPad, are having problems. Like, I'm telling you, the institutional buyer is now going to change this dynamic for buyers. And let me tell you why you have to work with the right buyer team. And let me tell you why. Again, as the listing agent, I have talked to 3 different buyers on my current listing, and they, long story short, they're like, well, I blah, 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 Zillow. And I was like, may I ask why you're using a Zillow agent? And they said, well, because I don't have an agent, and I don't double end my deals, because I believe that my job is to get my seller as much money as possible. How could I possibly do that and fight for every single dollar if I'm representing the buyer as well? Moral dilemma, right? So I'm talking to this guy. He's telling me that might use a Zillow agent. And I was like, look, I said, if you're not able to get into my listing, I have a team of agents that will get you into literally the first home you say, I got to have it, we'll get you in that home. I know how to write an offer. I know the terms and conditions it takes. Again, because I work both sides of the market. Here's what he told me. He says, I've been trying to buy a property for over a year now. I was using Redfin last year. And I was like, do you see the correlation there? I said, when you're using Redfin, Zillow, those are inexperienced agents. Those are agents that are brand new to the business, and their big granddaddy agent is the premier Zillow agent that gets all the Zillow leads, and then he passes it out to all his workforce. And those are the agents that are running around, and they can't get you under contract because they don't know how to write strong offers. So I said, you realize that this has cost you somewhere around $50,000 or more, right? So anyways, we're going to make sure he gets into a home. So you want to pay attention as a buyer. You have to work with the right buyer team. You need to pay close attention to the comps on the home that you're going to look at. What that means is not your market value, the market value where the bank may say that the appraisal comes in, unless you're a cash buyer. So again, working with the right team, we can tell you what that might be and where you'll need to come in with an offer. You then have to make sure, this is the second part, you need to make sure you have enough cash to cover the gap between that, let's call it bank value, and the purchase price. So that's the second thing. Comps, number 1, cash, number 2, and number 3, and to be honest with you, the most important thing, this girl right here, I can get a finance deal to beat a cash deal all day long, and I've done it many times, many times, even just in the last month. Several times I have gotten buyers, my finance buyers, into properties that other agents, well, obviously we won because there was literally dozens of other offers and we won. So terms are so important. So if you're thinking about buying, what I do with all my buyers is I do a Zoom call and I'm just no filter. Here's what it's gonna take to buy in this market. So here's the number one thing that everyone's talking about: not a market crash, not even a market decline, not even a market flat. Like, it's not going to happen for the foreseeable future. They've been saying that now for 1.5 years, and they're still going, yeah, we have so many companies that are moving here. The freeway systems are being widened. They're being extended. The freeway extensions, the new freeways, they're being built. The companies are moving here by the drones. Like, it is unbelievable. With high paying jobs, we're going to continue to see that very heavy migration. If you are planning to move here in the greater Phoenix area and you are going to stay in your home, and I would highly recommend that people start to live in their homes a little bit longer. If you live in that home for 3 years, even if the market went flat, you would still appreciate over a 5-year period of time, have over $250,000 appreciation in your home. You want to challenge me? You should call me and I'll show you the slide. All right, so here's the number one thing you're going to have to really pay attention to, and that is affordability. Now, some people think that affordability means the top of the market, and that maybe that means that's when the market's going to come down. Not the case. There are many cities that are well above the affordability level. It's not so fun when you live in those areas. Pick any large metropolitan area. We are becoming, I wouldn't say as expensive as a lot of these coastal cities, but we are certainly out of the affordability range. We are no longer cheap, and we're slightly cheaper. And I just say slightly because we are starting to get out of that affordability rating. Let me tell you what these median numbers are, and this is going to blow you away. Are you ready? Here we go. With no further ado. In 2020, the greater Phoenix area median price number, if you had bought in February of 2020, would have been $313,000. Aren't you just kicking yourself? In 2021, so 1 year ago today, the median price was $379,000. Oh, do you know, when I get homeowners right now, home buyers that want to buy a home under $400,000, this is what I tell them. Today's numbers. Now, this is for single family homes. If you are looking in the greater Phoenix area, the median single family home price is $470,000. So that means with interest rates going up, and for those of you who waited to buy even a year ago, it's not just costing you that $100,000 more, it's costing you exponentially more because interest rates, it costs more to borrow each dollar. The longer you wait from even right now, it will continue to get further and further away. Let's talk about the medians real quick and then I'll let you go. All right, for the entire greater Phoenix area, let's talk about some of the hot spots just so that you can have a perspective. And again, this is for median single family homes. This is what you can expect as the middle. That doesn't mean the nice, that means the middle of a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, right around 1,700 square feet, no swimming pool. In the city of Chandler, that's gonna look like $525. In the city of Gilbert, town of Gilbert, that is $548. In Mesa, it's $459. The thing about Mesa too is you have the really low price area and the really high price area. So if you're looking at Mesa, give me a call. We have Queen Creek, the same thing. The middle range, the median price of Queen Creek is $453. There's some great starter homes still in the beautiful town of Queen Creek, but most of the newer homes are over $1 million. So Queen Creek's getting quite pricey. Tempe, always hot in demand, and it's also landlocked and much, much older properties. The median price is at $540. All right, let's go to the west side. You're definitely going to get bigger bang for your buck. Yes, I said that right. On the West Valley. Now, what part of the West Valley? Let's start at the north. We have Peoria. Peoria's median is $517. Now, what changes that is literally 517 is kind of an odd number for Peoria because you have homes that are in the 300,000 or 400,000, but that's mostly the adult communities or the much older communities that have like carports and such. And then you have the new builds that are absolutely gorgeous, love it up there, are going to be around that 800 to $1 million. So you get the median of about 517. Goodyear, huge popularity. If you're close to 10, that's the older part of Goodyear, much lower than this, but the median today is at 500. And if you want to go closer to the Estrella Mountain Range, which is an absolutely gorgeous community, and you are one with nature, love it, it's going to be a lot higher. But that 500 is that middle range. Laveen is popping up too. Wow, some of these numbers just blow me away. Laveen is like the hot spot for all the companies. I don't want to say all the companies, for so many companies that are moving here from literally all over the world, all over the United States, and more importantly from California. Now, these are companies, these are great employers. In fact, they just broke ground on the largest industrial park right off Interstate 10 in Laveen. And so we're going to see even more demand for housing and more jobs plentiful in that area. And Laveen, the median price, this is shocking. $440, guys. That's just nutty. You drive through there, it's still all cotton fields and farm and really small, older homes. And then all of a sudden we see some pop-ups of the new builds. And the new builds, speaking of new builds, if you're looking at new construction, you are going to want to have one of my girls, one of us with you. Let me tell you, I can't tell you all the stuff that's going on because of the problems with supplies and also labor. We are seeing builders that are forcing buyers to close even without kitchen appliances or baseboards that are installed improperly. You're going to want a realtor, and it never costs you as the buyer to pay for a realtor. Why would you not want representation? You don't save any money without us. So let me highly recommend that. Now, you're probably wondering, sorry, I didn't forget. The next second to lowest area for median, and I have to say is an up and coming area, but it's still kind of way out there, is Surprise. Surprise is 437,000 as the median. And right now, if you live in Surprise, everything is a drive away. So nothing is really right there for you, but it will come, I promise. The 303 just kind of drives you through the desert, and that amazing northern road that turns into more like an expressway. It's great. You can drive into town for just about anything. And the lowest part, now I excluded Phoenix, but the lowest city for median is right now Tucson at 405. Who would have thought that we would ever have a median price in the 400s? That is just astounding to me. Do you know in 2019, it was in the 200s? It's unbelievable. All right, well, let's talk about the two hottest ones, and that is Scottsdale. You ready? Median price in Scottsdale, $973,000. If you're thinking about buying in Scottsdale, you need to be right at about $1 million and have some cash. And the big granddaddy of them all, our favorite, Paradise Valley, home of the Camelback Mountain, $3.8 million. That's just the median. So no, I didn't cover Phoenix because if you don't know the Phoenix area, Phoenix is ginormous and it's not one city. It is one city, but it's not. It has so many different nooks and crannies and community and villages and neighborhoods. If you're thinking about buying in the greater Phoenix area, you're going to have to give us a call. All right, so we are here days, nights, weekends. Pick up that phone, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, days, nights, weekends. We got your back when you're moving in and around the greater Phoenix area. Thanks, guys. Have a great month. Till next time. See you then. Bye.